Hello. Hi, my name's Zach. I'm from the client success team here at Aimtel. Thank you for joining us today for this Aimtel webinar. Today, we're going to be going over analytics and tracking and how to go over cross-domain tracking, tracking item purchase, conversions, and also how to look at some basic analytics over the site as well. So there's a few different types of analytics that you can take advantage of through the Aimtel dash, all with different uses and potential, and every single one would be different for different verticals. So the first one I want to go over is the dashboard or site-wide analytics. Very, very, very useful. This is an example site here, and I'm using it for the first quarter of March. There's a lot of different things that you can cover in the dashboard. If you're ever stuck or ever need to cover them again, just click on this little button here. It'll take you to our documentation center, which shout out to the documentation center. This is a lot of answers here, but this one has a quick run through over that. So here, there's a lot of different things, new subscribers, things like that. You can see, oh, there was a lot of new subscribers on this day, actually. Notifications sent, notifications clicked, pretty self-explanatory. Opt-in rate percentage, this is very, very useful. You can see how many subscribers who are declining and blocking. So here you can see that the average of this one is about 25%. The average for a site is about 20%. So these guys did pretty well. But like I said, the average is about 20 to 25%. So you can see sort of the opt-in rate. So how many people come to your site and actually click on opt-in. You got the unsubscription rates here. Manual unsubscriptions are people who they've already clicked allow, but they were like, no, I want to stop. So they click on block. That's this number here. And the inactive unsubscriptions are automatic purges. So people who are deemed inactive by our built-in logic. We'll go into that another day, but if you have any questions, just send me an email about that one and I'll be more than happy to explain that. And again, the custom events and attributes. If you're tracking these things, you can see how many are being tracked. Very useful, very simple, but very useful to sort of see a general overview. The next thing I want to cover is subscribers. So you can actually go into all subscribers here and you can see a specific subscriber ID analytics, pages they click on, attributes that are actually sent to them, whatever that may be. I'll actually go to a different website here. We'll go to another example and I'll show you another one. So actually you can view your specific subscriber ID. So I've subscribed to this site and I'm actually based near Hershey, Pennsylvania. So we track that. You can see the pages that I've been on, if there's any attributes, notifications I've been sent, everything like that. Super useful. Okay. The next tracking I want to talk about, or the analytics I want to talk about, is our integration with Google Analytics. So let's say you don't want to do any of these notifications. And you just want to send it all to Google Analytics. We have a built-in option for that. It's this button right here. So most websites nowadays have got Google Analytics. So in the URL here, all you do is you just click on this little button and it will automatically send all of the details to Google Analytics. The Aimtel, the meeting was pushed and it'll automatically ascribe the campaign ID. If you didn't know that, now you do. Always click that if you've got Google Analytics. It is very, very, very useful. Okay, next analytics that you can do is segmentation analytics. Now, these are very, very useful. They're probably one of my favorite features at Aimtel. Segments aren't just used for targeting, although that's their main purpose. They can also be used for insights and analytics. For example, if you're an e-commerce site and you want to know how many people visit your sales pages, you can do that through segments. If you want to see how many people have purchased an item, you can do that. If you want to see how many of your users are doing it through mobile and you want to cater more to mobile users, you can do that. Location queries, date queries, page view queries, we do a lot of different stuff. And we automatically track a lot for you. And actually the reason why this is so cutting edge and competitive is that we let you define a lot of different segments. So you can even add more through custom events and attributes. I want to go over segments in a complete another webinar, but the basics ones that I want to go over is it's so simple to create them, but they're so beneficial. So for this website here, we've actually got a domain for status. So I want to view how many people have viewed that page. So visited page URL is the default, but that's more useful for specific sites. We're actually going to go for contains. So this is just any URL that has the word contain, status in. So we update this here and give it a second to update. We'll just name this to status. Always name your segments. You'll thank me later when you've got a lot of them. So we'll just create that there. And there we go. So 24 subscribers. That's an instant insight. So I can now see, okay, out of our 76 subscribers, 24 of them visit this site or this page. You can also go even more granular. You can begin to add on top of each other. So you can do things like clicked on a specific campaign. And if you wanted to know if they were mobile, say, so a mobile user clicked on this campaign and so on and so forth. Like I said, I could spend an entire 25 minutes just on segments, but I think you get the picture. There are a lot of different options, a lot of different things that you can use. Okay, let's say we want to do California specific. Well, all of a sudden you can see the analytics and the insights are endless. A lot of different possibilities. Would highly recommend jumping into those. The last analytics that I want to jump over quickly is our campaign specific analytics. So there's two types. There's an overview analytics and there's campaign specific analytics. I know I'm talking quick, but we've got a lot that I want to get through. So campaign overviews. So the first thing to note is custom ranges. This is very useful. So let's say I want to see what was in December, sent out in December. Okay, well, I can do that. Well, look, you can see here what was sent in November. Okay, well, let's say I want to do just for this previous week in March. Okay, well, here we go. I can see that this amount of notifications, this clicks, it's all dynamic on the custom ranges. So again, super useful. You can filter out your drafts and actives if you just want to look at actives. If you want to just see, okay, I just want to see what our click-through ratio was, well, you can do that too. If you want to see your conversions and so on and so forth. Also, we've got some batch stuff here. I'm not sure if you were aware, but that is useful too. So this is sort of an overview. So we'll go into this specific one here. Now to view specific campaign analytics, you click on view results. And it shows you a good overview here of how many clicks or conversions, values ascribed to these conversions. So you can see that from these almost 3,000 notifications, 167 were clicked. Of those clicks, 15 converted, and it generated $1,474 for the user. I mean, now if you're paying $99 a month, this is already paid for, a whole year just off one notification. So you can begin to see the value and how useful it is to track your conversions, which we'll jump into in a second. If you go down, the campaign details is very simple. It shows you if there's any errors. If there are any errors, let me know and we'll get them fixed for you. But the two that you want to look for, daily breakdown, are your conversions. So the daily breakdown here, again, there's a very useful date range if you want to analyze dates. But also we do two defaults, line and bar. If you want to do bar, I personally prefer line, so we'll stick with that, but you can use the bar. I'm not sure many people know that, but line's very useful. And again, if you've got any questions about anything or I'm going over something too quickly, please use the questions. I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. So here as well, if you want to see all of them or you don't want to see the sent, whatever it may be, you can begin to see sort of the flow of these notifications and how sort of the click pace affects things. If and this is useful, I just came to me, if you're running a campaign over 6 months, right? And you can begin to see if there's months or seasons that are actually better than others, you can actually use that for your advantage. It's a very good way to give basic insights, I should say. Okay, conversions, the big boy topic. So this conversions tab is how you view conversions. So we'll come back to this one in a little while. So what is a conversion? Well, a conversion is whatever you want it to be. They work off tracked events. So you define the conversion and we automatically track it and it shows up here. So to track a conversion, you need to track events, you need to define the conversion, and then we do the rest. It's actually, it'll show up, there you go, it'll show up in the campaigns and then the conversion tabs. So all of that being said, once you've begun to track custom events, you can begin to use that in specific campaigns. Okay, Jimmy, yeah, I just got your question. I'll cover that in the end. Amazing. Okay, so like I said, tracking conversions, where were we? Okay, so once you've begun to track events here, sorry, you can begin to verify events right here. So these are event logs. So I'm assuming that you're going to be tracking events. If you need any assistance with that, let me know and I will be more than happy to help you with this. You can do it through JavaScript code or through actually your built-in API. If you have a dev team, show this to your dev team and they will be more than happy to help you set up dynamic variables and things like that. So you can verify that things have begun to track in here. So if you're an e-commerce site, for instance, items purchased is obviously a very useful one. Now, once you've done that and you want to set it as a conversion for a specific campaign, well, we're going to the abandoned cart here. So abandoned cart. So we're assuming that you're going to be setting up a notification. You've set up a trigger. Now then, conversions. So I'm going to do this as if you guys are seeing it. So this is how it would look like. 9 times out of 10, where people have problems with conversions, they have not clicked the on button. Click the on button. This is the screen that will show you. You need to set up an event category and an event action. This is based off your events that you have tracked. Now, this could be anything. This could be downloaded a PDF. This could be watched a video. This could have been entered an email, item purchases we've gone over, whatever it may be. You can define the conversion. So for an abandoned cart, obviously the one that we want is item purchased. So if you can't see it, you can scroll here. So item, and then we make sure select purchase. Now there's 2 things to note here. First being valid settings, where it says this in the top right. This here means that the event is currently being tracked and we can convert that into a conversion. Notice if I change that to item watched. Now you may be tracking that, but we're not tracking that. And notice it says invalid settings. Again, when there's errors with conversion tracking, 9 times out of 10, it's usually they haven't turned it on, or if they have, they've not set valid settings. So be sure to triple check this. The second thing to notice, so we'll go back to item purchase. The second thing to notice is the event label is intentionally left blank. Now, this right now would work. So we're going to update this campaign. We're going to go back into results. I'm going to show you what the event label is. Okay, so the event label here is yellow ducky. So this is actually the name of the item that is being purchased. Well, item purchased yellow ducky, and a very overly priced yellow ducky is $82. Right, what does that mean? Well, the event label and the event value is still getting tracked, but it was under the catch-all of item purchase. What does that mean? When you track conversions, you want them to be as broad as possible. For e-commerce, you don't want to be selecting labels. You want to be, if anyone's purchasing anything off that push notification, you want that to be tracked. So technically, if I put in as the event label yellow ducky, that would only track yellow duckies and ignore red duckies, here green duckies, blue duckies, everything. And it would potentially miss out all of this other value that is actually being tracked through these conversions. So I hope that makes sense. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but the important thing to note is make sure it's valid info and make sure that it's as broad as you want. The reason we have the event label is if you're doing a very specific conversion, so if you're doing, they click on this particular page, then you can do that, or things like that. That's an example. Okay, so we've got some more things that we can go over, but I want to answer the question that someone sent in, which is a very, very good question. How to exclude last 45-day converters. So to do that, what you do is you would do, you'd create a simple segment in here. So you create a segment for, if we could find it here, so the event category would be item, event condition would be action, so is purchased. And what you do is very simply, you do, where are we here? You would do item purchased, sorry, and then you do date since last click. That's what we're looking for here. Less than 40, sorry, greater, you want it greater than 45. Boom. All of a sudden, you've now created a segment. So we'll do this purchased. Then we'll go in here. And something you can do here is, let's say you only want to be excluding those people. Well, we've actually got a new thing where you can do segment targeting. So actually, it's already been set up here. So the segment targeting, it's actually targeting people who does not exist in the segment purchased item. So if they've purchased an item, they're automatically being excluded from it. Or if you want them to do that, you want or 45 days. We can find it. It didn't say, unfortunately, but that was the way you do it there. So I hope that answers your question. Just let me know if that answered it. Of course, there will do all subscribers, but that's how you do it. You'd create a specific segment and then you do the segment targeting and make sure it excludes that. Okay, there's two more things I want to cover quickly before we close out today, and that's cross-domain tracking and e-commerce tracking, probably our two biggest things. Now, let's say you have a domain, you have examplesite.com. Often you're converting on a site that is different to that domain. So for instance, it could be store.examplesite or leadgen.examplesite, whatever that may be. You want to create a cross-domain tracking pixel. It's very easy to do, and it automatically tracks events. So you click on add pixel. Okay, let's say we want to do video watched. Actually, we'll do a different one. We'll do email given. So we'll create this pixel. Well, the category is email and the action is given. This would automatically generate a piece of code that you can then place on a different domain that will then automatically track events back to the domain that you want it to. So like that. Very easy, very simple. You just update the pixel, you copy and paste this pixel and place it on whichever domain on the URL that you want, and it will automatically create events in here. The second thing I want to touch on is Shopify and e-commerce. So we actually have a built-in partnership with Shopify, and we automatically collect a lot of different data. So we actually automatically collect item purchased, item shipped, item added to cart, cart abandoned, and also first attributes, these custom attributes, emails, first name, last names, order count, total spent. Very useful. Jamie, you asked the total spent. So this one, you could set this up yourself. I'm not sure if you are using Shopify. I don't think you are. But if you are, you can track a custom attribute, how much people are spending, and create segments based on that. So, okay, this person has spent $50 in the past month. Maybe you want to target them with notifications or exclude them from notifications. That would be how you do that. It's very useful for that analytics. So yeah, Shopify, we collect a lot of different data. So that's about it. That's all I want to cover. I don't want to go too much longer. I know it's been about 20 minutes now, so I want to honor your guys' time. But the simplest way to understand event conversions is you track an event, you then verify it's in the log, you define the conversion in the notification, and then we'll automatically do the rest. You then can create segments, as we did down here, based on wherever we were, based on the events that you've tracked, and boom, you can begin to see the value and see the conversions roll in from your push notifications. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. I know that we sort of glossed over a lot of stuff, but I hope that was informative for you all. If you've got any more questions, ask them now. If you've got any more topics that you want, please let me know, and we can see if we can cover them in a future topic. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm just going to give a second just to see if anyone got any more questions. You're very welcome, Jamie. I'm glad that it was helpful. Yeah, fantastic. Well, looks like there's no more questions, so I'm going to be closing this out. Shoot me any emails if you think of anything else, and have a great day.